a $7 pen battle to $200+ pens. The Platinum Preppy is an entry-level pen that Platinum does, and the 3776 are very famous, very popular gold nib pens, not just from Platinum in general. They are quite well regarded. Their quality is amazing. Everyone mostly has really nice things to say about it. Technically, 3776 used to be regarded as an entry-level gold nib pen. I don't consider that anymore, and I haven't considered that in a while. Maybe in 2020 that might have been true, but going off of the current prices and just the prices from before, the 3776 is the price has shot up astronomically. So I wouldn't consider the 3776 an entry-level gold nib pen anymore, but the Preppy still remains a very good beginner entry-level fountain pen. I think it used to be $4 to $5. Now it's $7, which it's still doable. With the Preppy, you get this whole pen and a cartridge. The converter I bought separately, but I think the Platinum converter goes for $7 to $10, maybe $12 maximum. So if you were on a budget, you can just get the pen for $7 and keep refilling the cartridge. I have all three in medium nib. This way we can fully compare it with similar nibs, similar ink. They're all inked with Candy C. I have had Shukuro inked in all three before as well. So I have two ink comparisons. One is a very harsh, high maintenance ink. So I will go over that, how all three perform. And I have Candy C, which is very easy, fountain pen friendly, beginner ink. And we can see how these three perform, which one does better. Spoiler alert, I think they all have their pros. And I have all three, and I wouldn't give any of them up. I use each one for specific reasons. So I will go through what pen I use for what is the purpose for me. And this way you can get a overview on if you need the pen, because I can just say that the Preppy is definitely worth the money. And if you're a beginner, definitely go for the Preppy. But I think the 3776, the 14 karat modern one and the 18 karat vintage also have a very specific purpose and are also definitely worth the older money. I don't know what they're worth. I don't check the prices anymore. They're just way too depressing. Starting with the Platinum Preppy, the body is cheap plastic. It can get cracked easily. My extra fine actually did get cracked. It's this section right here. I'll try to show. There's some, yeah, there it is. There's some cracks right here. It was definitely a little bit my fault, but I don't have Hulk strength. I just went a bit too fast when I was screwing it in. It doesn't affect the pen, luckily. It's just, since it's this section, the ink doesn't dry up or there's no negative impact on the writing. It's just something to note that it is $7 and the body does feel like it's $7. It feels cheap. It is cheap, but you get the amazing Platinum slip-in seal mechanism with it, which is supposed to keep the ink wet and not dry it out for months on end. And it is true, because I had Platinum Cassis Black in this red one, and I hadn't used it for 4 months. I hadn't opened it, and it was writing straight. Once I uncapped it and it started writing on the page, it just started writing. I didn't have to scribble to get the ink flowing or dip it in water, nothing. There was no drying up on the feed or the nib. It was good to go from the start. Which is why for the first 8 months that I had this Preppy, I had it only inked with Shukuro. And I used to keep inking it with Shukuro. I didn't clean it up. It was totally fine until like 10 months in, without cleaning, without a single cleaning, it kind of did dry up a bit, but I think it was because I left it uncapped a bit too long between my note-taking sessions, and it just kind of dried up and I had to clean it up. So that's the only time that it dried up. It's a very good steal. I would definitely recommend. So again, for $7, you get so much. The best part I would say about this is also the reverse writing, which I haven't found with any other pen. So it writes quite broad just in its regular format, but as a reverse, it writes like a fine, close to a medium. Here's a broad comparison. So this is just straight up. Wait, okay, singular line. Then this is reverse. I only have my vintage celluloid in broad, and I'm trying to keep it a similar brand. So here's a broad. So Preppy medium is comparable to a platinum broad if you have it. And then the reverse is comparable to a fine. So this is Preppy fine. So the Preppy fine is really fine. I would say this reverse is almost between fine medium. I have the capless in fine medium here. So quite comparable. So for $7, you get 2 nib variations, and they're both smooth to write with. There's no scratchiness. I can write multiple pages reversed, which I can't do with any other nib, not even the fine Preppy. So if you get a medium Preppy, you get the medium nib as well as almost a fine nib. Again, for $7, you get a lot. If your preference is on a more high maintenance, expensive ink, say you want Platinum Shukuro, which is a $60 bottle. So you want that ink, you need that ink, and now you don't care about the pen. I would recommend get the Preppy in medium. The Preppy is only $7, and then with the ink, it comes out to be about $70 with tax. I also use my Preppies for note-taking. All my Preppies are inked with waterproof inks, which help with note-taking because I don't want my notes to just disappear. I also take it outside the home. I baby the Preppy less. So for Preppy, the pros are it's cheap. Amazing writer, you get a 2-in-1 nib size. Amazing seal, works on all papers. Here I'll write on a non-fountain friendly paper. So this is reversed. Pen is platinum. So reverse it does well. And here is it in a regular. It does well on not great paper too, but obviously it does best on fountain friendly paper. The dry time is good. Platinum nib definitely has a grip on paper. This will come in play again when I talk about the 18 karat, what I mean by the grip on paper. Cons for the Preppy, it's cheap. The plastic's not as sturdy. It can easily break. You have to pay, what, $10 more for the converter. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I can think of in cons. Pros definitely fully outweigh the cons. So for sure, worth it. Way, way, way worth it. Definitely punching about its weight class. Now, the Kingyo. First of all, just feast your eyes on this beautiful pen. I think the Kingyo might be the prettiest celluloid of the bunch. I have 4. So I have these 2 vintage ones, the Calico Tortoise, and I also have the Sakura, which is the pink one. And there are 2 more which I don't have. It's the Emerald and also Ocean Swirl, I believe. But I think the Kingyo is just the prettiest of the whole celluloid collection. Is the vibrancy of the orange red is just beautiful, and with the gold hardware and the mother of pearl running through. It's it's just so elegant and just absolutely stunning. It definitely looks like a goldfish. That is the name. That's the translation, I think. I think if I had to choose between all the celluloids, I would pick the Kingyo, which is also great because I have it in my favorite nib size, which is medium. I think the platinum medium gold nib is my favorite just nib in general. It has this really nice musical feedback sound to it. It writes like a HB pencil, but glides over the page like a really nice smooth fountain pen. It has a nice controlled bounce to it. It's a really nice in between pilot and sailor where it has the smooth bounciness of a pilot and it has a musical sound quality of the sailor feedback. A really nice love child of pilot and sailor. The best qualities of both. In terms of line variation, it is definitely a true medium. This is the medium. It's a lot smaller than the Preppy medium, which is definitely interesting. I'm not sure what quality assurances it goes through, but there is a gap. It doesn't write reverse. Like it writes reverse technically, but it's not enjoyable. There's this hard nails on chalkboard scratchiness to it. It's just, ooh, I don't like it. So in Preppy, you can get the true reverse and non-reverse writing. You don't get that with the Kingyo. You get a medium and that's it. You have to be happy with that. And I am very happy with it. I think for the price that I paid, I got this about 2 years ago. So it was, I think around 220, maybe a bit more or less. I got it 2 years ago. So for the price that I paid, it's definitely worth it. It also punches way about its weight class for that price. The current price is atrocious. I don't know. I would never pay that price that it's going for currently. I think the last time I checked on Jet Pens, it was $600. Absolutely not. It's definitely not worth that price. I would say just go on to eBay or PenSwap or just go on Facebook Marketplace and search for a used pen or go on to the gray market, anything but the $600 that they're charging currently for it. Because I love this pen. I love it, but it is not worth $600 plus tax. 600 plus tax. The medium of the 3776 has some bounce to it, and if you press down, it does open up its tines a bit. A bit. Don't press down too much, you will spring the nib. This is not a soft medium. This is a medium, and let it stay a medium. Don't press down too much. I do write with a bit of a pressure, just regularly. That is how I write, but I don't press down too much on it. This is how I regularly write. And it does its job. So for me, this is definitely my favorite of the three. And as I said, I would definitely pay what I paid before, but I would not pay the current price for it. The gold nib actually does feather a bit on bad quality papers, so that is something to keep in mind. I wouldn't use it with non-fountain pen friendly notebooks or paper on regular copy paper. The 14 karat gold medium also has this grip on paper. So this is a toothy paper, but even with Tome River, which is very smooth, it has some grip to it. So if you're someone who has accidentally got a very smooth paper and you don't like the slip and glide of that paper, this is the fountain pen for you. It has a very nice grip on the paper without it like being a drag to write with. Like it's still smooth on the paper, but it's not gliding and slipping all over the smooth paper. So the paper to use with the 3776, all papers except for copy paper or non-fountain pen friendly notebooks. The nib, the 3776 also has a very cute heart-shaped breather hold, and it has the Mount Fuji mountain peak on the nib. Also for a starter gold nib, which the 3776 used to be considered as, the nib is quite big. I'm not talking about the line variation, so I'm not talking about the medium nib. I'm talking about the nib size itself. It's a really nice sized nib that you get. It's not tiny. It has a substantial width to it. I really like the look of the nib as well. For the pen, it matches. It doesn't look out of place. Everything goes well together, which, I mean, you kind of want for an expensive pen, you know? And the last one, the vintage, the Calico, the pretty 18 karat gold nib. So this nib has some distinctness to it. It doesn't have the heart-shaped breather hole. It has pretty intricate scroll work all around. It has the medium written in kanji. There's the 18 karat gold stamped and the P and 3776. So that's the differences. In terms of length and body, they're quite similar. It's just that the nib design is a bit different. The feel, very different. Very, very, very different. So in terms of line variation, it matches the medium size. Here it is. So this was the 14 karat, this is 18, and this was the steel. It's a bit broader than the medium, but like hairs, like millimeter, very, very tiny, but it is there, you can see. This doesn't have the grip on paper that I was talking about with the other two. This is a very smooth, bouncy, gliding over the paper nib experience. Also, do not use it with bad paper. It will feather. Okay, I feel like this was feathering a lot more when I was writing with it on this paper, but just take my word for it, it feathers on copy paper. I think it's the ink that I have that is working well, but it does feather. So use only fountain pen friendly paper. It could work on Tome River as well, but since this is a smooth gliding nib, it might be too glidey for some people. It doesn't have that grip on paper with the 14 karats. It is comparable to my Pilot 18 karat, so I have this in fine medium. And in terms of the feel, they're quite similar. The glide, the bounciness, they're both quite similar. So if you have a Pilot vanishing point capless, however you want to say it is quite similar to that. And if you like the capless feel, how it writes, then you will definitely like the vintage as well. So give it a try. But if you don't like the capless smoothness or the glide, then definitely don't get the vintage because they're quite similar and you won't like it. So in terms of capped, they're pretty much the same length. Maybe the Preppy is slightly longer, like by 1 millimeter, by 1 millimeter, but they're pretty much the same. It's the grip section that is different. So if we were to align the grip sections, then the Preppy has a longer grip section. Technically, the 3776 celluloids have a smaller grip section than their regular 3776. So already with the celluloid, you get a shorter grip section. This can be a problem if you, I don't know, hold your pen back a bit. It can irritate, but I've never had this problem. I've had long writing sessions and not faced that problem. In terms of uncappedness, here they are uncapped. So the two celluloids are pretty much the same. It's the Preppy that is slightly longer, maybe a millimeter. Yeah, about that much. Maybe half a centimeter. Yeah. So not that much of a difference, but maybe for some people it might be. I have medium hands. This is what they look like. For me, I can write all three uncapped, no problem. I am a serial cappist, but I can write hours uncapped as well. I feel like, so the Preppy is definitely punching way above its weight class. I wouldn't rank it first among these three because I can tell the difference. There is a writing feel difference. I know we don't want there to be. We want the cheap pen to feel the same. I think there is a use for the Preppy. I don't think that the 3776 is inherently better than the Preppy. I think there's different uses for each. But for me, I prefer the 3776 14 karat over the other two. Here's how I would rank them in terms of writing feel. Writing feel, the 14 karat Kingyo comes first. It gets the top position. Then after that, for writing feel, the Calico 18 karat comes second. I like the bounciness of it. And then the Preppy. I really like writing with it, but again, I prefer the gold nibs more. Now, if we're talking in terms of functionality, then the 3776 14 karat comes first, then Preppy. They're almost tied, but I do like writing with the 14 karat more, so I'm going to put it first. And then the Calico 18 karat. In terms of how much I've used, like which pen I've used more, then these two tie actually. I do, it might seem like I use the Preppy more. I thought I used the Preppy more, but I went through all my notebooks and my journaling pages, and these two tie. I've used them almost the same amount. It's kind of hard to quantify exactly, but just looking at the pages and, you know, my memory, these two are tied. It's just that I use the Preppy outside the home for note taking. I take it to classes, put it in my purse. This blue one lives in my purse. It's my purse pen. So in terms of that, that's what I use the Preppy for. But I use the 14 karat for journaling, for letter writing, for note taking, but at home. So again, in terms of use, I've used them both just for different things. And the Calico I have used the least, but it still provides a big functionality for me. So I've used this with really dry inks. I had Diamond Register's Blue Black in it. It didn't dry up. The seal isn't the best. It doesn't have the platinum slip and seal, but the writing experience was the best I've had so far with Diamond Register's Blue Black, that particular ink. It was so smooth and it was gliding on the page without any resistance. But since the Diamond Register's Blue Black is a dry ink, the ink was gripping the paper for me, whereas the 18 karat nib provided the bounciness. So together, they really worked well together. So far, I've inked the Calico with Endless Alchemy, Mystic Forest, which Easy Ink, the Candy Seed that I have it in currently, again, Easy Ink. But I've also inked it with Registrar's Blue Black and Shukuro. Both amazing, but Shukuro did dry up because it has terrible seal. So I wouldn't recommend Shukuro, but I do recommend Registrar's Blue Black. So go for that if you have it. So, a quick TLDR for people. Preppy for people who are on a budget and want to take their pens outside without any worries. Want a good seal. Preppy, want to use it with a waterproofing. The 3776 celluloid or just regular pen for a better upgrade to the writing experience. Really like the musical feedback. Want a really nice gold nib pen. Definitely worth the price. And then the 18 karat for people who like a smooth, bouncy feel. Don't like the hardness, stiffness, firmness of the 14 karat medium. Hopefully this video was helpful. For future videos, I have the 3776 in the regular one, I think. I'll learn how to say that, but the red and gold variety. So I'll be comparing the celluloid medium versus the regular 776, the slip and seal mechanism, which inks work better. Is there any other difference? Another video that I'll be doing is the regular 3776, compare that to the Preppy. And I'll be comparing the Preppy Fine to my celluloid Fine to see if there's any difference. So upcoming 3-4 videos, hopefully you'll stay around to check them. Please subscribe if that interests you. Like, let me know if you have any of these pens, how you use them, what inks you've used them. I like to know what inks to use in mine as well. Yeah, let me know. Okay,